Super Rugby Unlocked gets underway this Friday, which is already today here in New Zealand. Um, it'll be tomorrow by the time the game is on in New Zealand time, but it's a Friday game. It's the Sharks, it's the Lions, it's South African rugby back again. Third week in a row. We've had Superfan Saturday, that kind of Baba style game. We've had Super Rugby Unlocked, that kind of much tighter test style, and now we get some Super Rugby. Is it the last time we see South African teams in a competition named Super Rugby? Most likely, but that is what it is. It's the Sharks, it's the Lions. Speaking of Super Rugby, before the lockdown, the Sharks were going pretty good, man. They had 6 win and 1 loss record. They were sitting top of the log in Super Rugby 2020 before it got cancelled. However, I guess two things you have to look at. One, they didn't play the Lions in Super Rugby 2020, and the one game they've had back, they lost. They got hammered by the Bulls 49-28 in that Superfan Saturday match. Now, Superfan Saturday, as I said, was very much like a preseason game. It was a warm-up. It was Barbars style. You had tons of substitutions. So don't read too much into that. As a Blues fan, I can't tell you how many times we've had a decent preseason and then gone on to be rubbish. So it's one game. But after 2 weeks of games, not all these guys would have played in that second game. But yeah, let's hope the rust has been shaken off a little bit more and we get to see a decent game between these teams. The Lions, on the other hand, their pre-COVID record was not the best. It was the opposite, essentially. 1 win and 5 losses. And they also lost their Superfan Saturday match, but maybe were a bit better value than what we thought it was going to be. There was a pretty strong-looking Stormers team they played. They had a bit of a comeback, and it was 34-21. Elton Yankees looked good in green versus gold. So we'll see how he goes at this weekend. Well, it's Friday, but it's Saturday in New Zealand. Anyway, I'll go over the two teams quickly and then the odds predictions for this one, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this one is going to go. I'll also speak briefly about the broadcasters too. The Sharks, Oxenchair, Dylan Richardson, and Thomas Dutoy is a pretty bloody good looking front row. But then the Lions is also Sitole Visachi and Kalu Sadi. So the front row battle will be a pretty good one. I think I'd be edging it towards the Sharks, to be fair, but we'll see how they go. The Lions traditionally have had a pretty good pack. Some good coaching. Ruben van Heerden and Hiron Andrews. Hiron Andrews was really good in green versus gold, so they'll be looking to maybe dominate a line-out time, especially when you look, and you got Marvin Ori, who's good, but then Willem Alberts is having to play lock in this one, which, I mean, he's fine, but you'd rather have like a specialist lock there, I would imagine. Lucy's for the Sharks, James Fenter, Buthelezi and Sikumbuza Notshare is 6, 7, and 8. For the Lions, it's Jaco Creel, Chituka, and Masane. So, I don't know, man. It just seems teams around the world have loads of good Lucy's, because I look at all these guys and think that could be a pretty interesting battle. Jaco Creel looked pretty good in the Superfan Saturday. He didn't play in green versus gold, but he looked pretty good on his return to South African rugby. Sukum Buzanoche and Fenter, prior to lockdown, were having absolutely barnstorming runs. Lem Masane was pretty good as well. Chituka has proved he's pretty useful. So, yeah, man, lost to see. Buthelezi, when was the last time I've seen him play? Did he play on Superfan Saturday? Can't remember. Too much rugby's been on. Nohamba and Bosch is a pretty bloody good looking 9-10 combo. Nohamba's pass continues to be lightning quick. That's something you can't buy. He's just, got a really quick pass and pretty nippy runner as well. Kua Bosch, how his defense goes will be always one to watch, because it's an area of his game that he gets criticized, but he's got a big boot, man. He's got a big boot. He can just sail that ball well into the sky to give his runners a chance to compete for any high balls that he goes for. But that being said, as I mentioned, Elton Yankees, who's captain for the Lions, was the best 10 in green versus gold pretty easily. I thought so. He's got Dylan Smith giving him service at 9. Midfielders Marius Lowe and Lucanio Am. Lucanio Am is captain for the Sharks. It's still painful that Esther Hazen's not there anymore, but that is what it is. Dan Kuro and Berger Odendal are the 12-13 combo for the Lions, which is an interesting one. I thought Odendal for the Bulls usually played 12, but I don't know. And Yeah, I thought they had Similani as well. Hmm. Oh, that's right. The Lions bench went past 23. One moment, please, viewers. All right, as I was looking through the lineups, I noticed the Lions had picked a 24 and a 25, which is Similani and Dreyer on their bench. And I started looking for rules for the competition as to how many subs were allowed, but I ended up not finding it and then not writing down those two guys' names. But I was sure I'd seen them. Yeah, it's interesting Similani's on the bench. Yeah, bizarre. Anyway, so yeah, that's the midfield combos. Werner Koch, JP Peterson, and Marnie Libok at the back three for the Sharks. Koch has looked pretty busy in terms of the games that we've seen him play thus far. With that hair, he's just so conspicuous. JP Peterson will bring a bit of experience. I'm not sure how much gas he's still got. And Marnie Libok there at the back. He's another guy who needs some more game time, I think. Heaps of potential, but probably hasn't brought what we can see from him. Ulengo, Maxwane, and Viljoen are the back three for the Lions. I don't know that I've seen Viljoen play fullback back when he was at the Stormers. I always remember him in the midfield, but I will take any insights into that you guys can provide. Otherwise, yeah, it should be a pretty interesting one. Looking at the benches, I understood the Sharks had signed Pinkler after the Kings thing, like they got liquidated, but I don't see him in the lineup, which is unfortunate. I mean, Jeremy Ward's there, Van der Mesht, Dylan Smith's on the bench for the Lions, Lombard's on the bench, Daimani's on the bench, so there's some pretty talented guys on the bench, and the Lions have got an extra two players, which I couldn't find an answer for, but I'm sure it'll come up. If you do know, let us know in the comments. In terms of the competition, it's 7 rounds. These guys are only going to play each other once. And then I understand once this competition concludes, it's going to kind of carry forward to the Curry Cup. So it's not that straightforward for those of us maybe outside South Africa. But 7 rounds basically for Super Rugby Unlocked. Each team plays each other once. This game's in Durban, so they're not going to play each other at Joburg in a return fixture. I also noticed no Scorsam for the Lions, which is also interesting. I didn't see he was injured, but never know. The game is on at 7 p.m. local time. Supersport's the broadcaster in South Africa. I noticed it's listed on Sky Sports in the UK. It's listed on KO in Australia, although it's like 4 a.m. It's listed on Sky Sports here in New Zealand, 6 a.m. So it's a pretty decent one if you're happy to get up a wee bit early. I'll certainly be up for this one. I couldn't see American broadcaster. They broadcast Super Rugby Aotearoa and AU on ESPN Plus. Didn't see it listed there. We'll have to wait and see. The predictions. The bookies here in New Zealand have got the Sharks by 6. Rugby Forecast Algorithms got the Sharks by 3. So either way, the Sharks go into this one as the favourite. They were at home. They had the pre-lockdown record. Neither side got the result on Superfan Saturday. But yeah, it seems to be the Sharks one to lose. Anyway, both these sides have changed a lot since then. It's kind of ancient history at this point. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. Another week of South African rugby. We've got All Blacks against Wallabies. I think generally it's just pretty happy days right now despite the pandemic. Hope you guys all stay well. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.